You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Welcome along. Today we're digging into some really interesting sources you might have come across, articles, notes, all looking at how top companies are handling, well, frankly, massive data challenges and getting more efficient.
That's right. And these sources, they really give some fascinating glimpses into modern data engineering. We're seeing everything from cutting-edge AI workflows to just nuts and bolts infrastructure at incredible scale. Our goal here is pretty simple. Boil it down, find those aha moments, and give you the practical knowledge to sort of navigate what's happening out there.
Okay, let's jump right in. First up, Agentic Workflows. Sounds a bit sci-fi, maybe. But the sources suggest this could be a really big deal for data teams. So what exactly are we talking about here?
Well, it's about how fast these things are developing. Imagine basically telling an AI assistant, build me a sales dashboard for Q3 instead of writing all the SQL and plumbing yourself.
Right.
We're seeing claims, pretty bold ones, of building a production-ready semantic layer, that business-friendly view of data in under 2 hours, cutting the manual work by potentially over 75%.
75%. Wow. What tools are making that possible?
It's things like Claude Code, dbt, MCP, that's a data transformation tool lots of folks use, and just generally these powerful new large language models. They're shifting the job from writing every line of code to, well, more like defining the goal and letting the system figure out the steps.
So less coding grunt work, more high-level direction. That sounds amazing for productivity, for ROI, even if the models aren't perfect yet. But what are the sort of practical catches right now?
That's a fair question. Look, the potential is huge, but yeah, right now these agents often still need a fair bit of human guidance. They might get stuck on really complex things or stuff they haven't seen before.
Okay.
The real aha, though, I think, is recognizing the shift itself. It's moving from doing every step manually to orchestrating automated steps. That's the fundamental change.
Automated orchestration. I like that. It really does change the approach. But, even with smart agents, the sheer amount of data is still a challenge. One source gave us a look behind the curtain at OpenAI. Petabytes daily. How on earth are they managing that? Especially with, 20% monthly growth?
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting. OpenAI's setup for their observability data, their logs, it's built on ClickHouse, a really fast open source database.
ClickHouse, right.
And it's massive, a 90-shard cluster, 2 replicas per shard, so it's resilient. They collect the logs using fluent bid agents, which are pretty lightweight.
Okay, so big cluster, standard collection. What's the clever part?
The clever part is the tiered storage in the cloud. They keep maybe 80% of the queries hitting recent data, which stays on faster disk storage. Sub-second access for that.
And the older stuff?
The older logs, the less frequently accessed stuff, gets pushed off to cheaper blob storage. It's a smart cloud-native way to handle it.
That tiered approach sounds efficient.
Yeah.
But is there a catch? Like, if you do need that older data from blob storage, is it suddenly really slow?
Well, there might be a bit more latency, yeah. But the system's designed so most queries hit the fast queue. The key insight really is the trade-off. You save a lot of money by not keeping everything on the expensive fast disks.
Right.
While still getting great performance for what matters most, the recent data. It's optimizing for both scale and cost. Pretty smart.
Definitely a masterclass in balancing those two. And speaking of cost, that brings us to another key theme from the sources. Actually reducing data infrastructure spend. For organizations maybe not at OpenAI's level, what are some takeaways for saving money?
Yeah, this is relevant for a lot of teams. One example highlighted was using Prefect. The claim is data teams can cut infrastructure costs by, up to 75%.
75% again. That's huge. How?
By running stateful workloads, jobs that need to remember things between steps on Kubernetes spot instances.
Spot instances. But aren't those the ones that can just disappear? Yeah. How do they make that reliable?
That's the trick. It's a combination of things. Smart task caching, first off, so you don't redo work if it's already been done.
Okay.
Then orchestration that actually understands the infrastructure so it can pick cost-effective options. And crucially, stateless workers.
Stateless workers, meaning
the
the worker itself doesn't hold the critical state. If a spot instance vanishes, the orchestrator knows what needs to be done, and another worker can just pick it up seamlessly.
Right.
The work doesn't fail.
I see. So you turn that volatile, cheap compute into something reliable.
Exactly. You're managing the risk to get a big cost advantage. That's the real insight, making transient infrastructure dependable.
Fascinating.
So quite a journey, right? From agentic automation changing workflows, to OpenAI handling petabytes with smart storage, and then finding ways to seriously slash infra costs.
Yeah, a lot packed in there. And hopefully, drawing from these sources gives you a clearer picture of these trends.
Yeah.
Understanding this stuff really equips you for what's next.
So the final thought to leave you with, data is just going to keep growing, exploding really. How are you going to use these kinds of advanced approaches, the automation, the smart scaling, the cost cutting, to not just cope, but actually transform your data strategy? Something to think about.
Spoken Tech for your ears.